Thank you for the time given to our group. Now we will present our material about language variations. For the first presenter, time is yours.
Thank you. Good afternoon, class. Thank you. Our group will present about the language variations. The essence of language variations is that language is not monolithic. Language variations is considered a consequence of the social change that occur within communities. Language variations is a natural and healthy part of language. It allows people to express their unique identity and experience. It also allows for communications and understanding between people from different backgrounds. Language variations is closely linked to dialectology by helping us determine where a person comes from or their socioeconomic status just by paying attention to the variety of English an individual is using. And this phenomenon happens in every language. There are many factors that contribute to language variations, including geographic locations. People who live in different regions often speak and write in different ways. This is due to a number of factors such as exposure to different dialects, the influence of different language, and the unique culture and historical experience of the region. And then social groups. People who belong to different social groups often speak and write in different ways. This is because social groups have their own unique cultures and norms. For example, people who belong to the same professions or social class may use similar jargon or slang. And then context. The context in which language is used can also affect how it is spoken and written. For example, people may use different language when they are speaking to friends than when they are speaking to strangers. Here are some specific examples of language variations. First one is dialect. A dialect is a variety of a language is spoken in particular region or social group. For example, the American English dialect spoken in the Midwest is different from the American English dialect spoken in the South. And then sociolects. A sociolect is a variety of language that is spoken by particular social group. For example, the language used by teenagers is different from the language used by adults. And the last one is register. A register is a variety of language that is used in a particular context. For instance, the language used in the normal easy is different from the language used in causal conversation.
Okay, and the next is about language variation category. The first one is vernacular language. Vernacular language refers to the everyday spoken language used by people in a particular region or country, often differing from the standardized formal language. So, vernacular language is mean that the language not standardized atau not official status. For example, in context Manggarai, there are many languages not standardized. The first one is Rongga dialect, Kempo dialect, Kolang dialect, Bukun dialect, and etc. And the second one is standard language. Standard language, a formalized regular version of a particular vernacular established by linguistic authorities for education, government, literature, and communication across regions or countries. So standardized language always made by community. And the example of standard language, Bali language, Indonesian standard, and Manggarai already have standard language. And the third, lingua franca language. Lingua franca language, a language used for communication between people who come from various different language backgrounds. Lingua franca is the language of instruction or social language, so that each part with a different language can understand what is being conveyed. And the example of lingua franca is we always say that bon and angpao and etc. Next, Pidgin and Creole language. Pidgin is a language with no native speakers. It is not first language, but it is a contact language. And Creole is a normal language in just about every sense. For example, in context Manggarai, we always say Chow, Chia, and Met. And this language not native speaker. And the next, code mixing language. Code mixing language is one of the major kinds of language choice which is subtler than code switching. Code mixing is use more than one language in single sentence. And there are three types of code mixing. They are, the first one, insertion. Insertion is word level. And the example of insertion is Aslio, saya sok sekali lihatnya. And second, alternation. Alternation is about phrase levels. For example, saya ada lihat tadi yo. And the third one, congruent lexicalization. Congruent lexicalization is about sounds pronunciation. Example, dia telepon. And the next, code switching language. Code switching is a term in linguistics referring to using more than one language or variety in conversation. Code switching is the one of alternative ways to bilang one of two or more language in the same conversation. For the example, first, menurutku that's a good idea. So, kita bisa gunakan ide itu. And the next example, open your book and kerjakan halaman nomor 10. Dan don't forget untuk mengumpulkannya. Next, diglossia language. Diglossia language is a trait to a language, or a language is trait with extinction because there are no speakers. And the last, language attitude. Language attitude is the collection or belief, association, and opinion people have toward language. And the last one point is about the implication. The implication of language variation, the first one is for education. Education should be aware of language variation and its implication for teaching and learning. And the next, the implication for work. Employees should be aware of language variation and its implication for the workplace. And the last one, the implication for society. Language variation should be celebrated as a reflection of the diversity of our society. We should all strive to be respectful of different language varieties and to avoid making discriminatory judgment about people based on their language use.
Thank you all for your participation. That's all our presentation. Thank you.